In a world where werewolves rule from the shadows, one impossible bond will shatter every law they've ever known. The scent hit Aeryn like a blade between the ribs. It shouldn't have been possible. The marketplace buzzed with 100 different smells: roasted meat, sweat, wet stone from the morning rain, the sharp tang of fear that always clung to humans who wandered too close to packed territory. But this scent cut through everything else, wrapped around her throat, and pulled tight. Mate. Her wolf surged forward, clawing at her insides, desperate to break free and claim what belonged to them. Aeryn's knees buckled. She grabbed the edge of a fruit stall, her claws punching through the wood before she could stop them. "Easy there, Luna," the vendor said, eyes wide with concern. He was Pack, a low-ranking wolf who knew better than to question the daughter of the alpha when her eyes flashed gold. Aeryn forced her claws to retract, forced her breathing to steady, forced herself to look normal even though her entire world had just collapsed. Because the scent was leading her toward a human. She could see him now, 20 feet away, bent over a crate of old books in the corner of the market square. Dark hair fell across his forehead as he traced the spine of a leather-bound volume with careful fingers. He was lean, almost too thin, with the kind of pale skin that said he didn't spend much time in the sun. Fragile. Breakable. Completely, utterly human. And her fated mate. No. No, this couldn't be real. Fate didn't bind wolves to humans. It was impossible. An abomination. Every pup learned this from birth. The moon goddess blessed her children with mates of equal strength, equal power, equal worth. Luna, future leader of the Silvercrest pack, didn't get bound to prey. But her wolf didn't care about logic or laws or the shame that would drown her family if anyone found out. Her wolf only knew one truth: mine. Elias looked up. Their eyes met across the marketplace, and the bond snapped into place with such force that Aeryn tasted copper. His eyes were brown, ordinary human brown, but something flickered in them. Recognition. Confusion. He tilted his head, frowning, like he'd heard a sound he couldn't quite place. Could he feel it too? Impossible. Humans didn't have wolves, didn't have the instincts to recognize a mate bond. But he was staring at her now, his book forgotten, and Aeryn realized she was staring back. She turned and ran. Her boots pounded against the cobblestones as she fled the marketplace, ducking into an alley between two stone buildings. She pressed her back against the cold wall and tried to breathe, tried to think, tried to figure out how her entire life had just shattered in the space of a heartbeat. Hey! Wait! Aeryn's head snapped up. He'd followed her. The human had actually followed her into a dark alley in the heart of werewolf territory, either incredibly brave or astronomically stupid. Elias stood at the mouth of the alley, breathing hard, his hand pressed against the wall like he'd needed to chase her even though he had no idea why. Up close, she could see the calluses on his fingers, the ink stains that marked him as a scholar or scribe. His scent wrapped around her again, and her wolf purred with satisfaction. "I know this is going to sound insane," he said, his voice rough and uncertain, "but do I know you?" No, the word came out too sharp, too desperate. "Because I feel like he stepped closer, and Aeryn's claws threatened to emerge again. "Like I've been looking for you. Which is crazy because I've never seen you before in my life, but when you looked at me, I felt nothing." Aeryn pushed off the wall, forcing herself to meet his eyes even though every instinct screamed at her to close the distance between them, to touch him, to mark him as hers. "You felt nothing because there's nothing to feel. Go home, human. This part of the city isn't safe for your kind after dark." Hurt flashed across his face, and her wolf whined in distress at causing their mate pain. But this was necessary. This was survival. If the pack found out, if her father found out. "My name is Elias," he said quietly, like offering his name could somehow bridge the impossible gap between them. "And you're lying." Her heart stuttered. "Excuse me?" "You're lying." He said it with such calm certainty that for a moment, Aeryn forgot he was human, forgot he shouldn't be able to read her so easily. "I don't know how I know, but you felt it too. When we looked at each other. Something connected. This was dangerous. This was everything she'd been taught to fear and reject. But Moon help her, she wanted to hear him say it, wanted to know if fate had been cruel enough to let him feel even a fraction of what was tearing her apart. You should go, she whispered. Will I see you again? No. Never. She would avoid the marketplace, avoid anywhere his scent might linger, avoid this impossible bond until it withered from neglect. That was the only choice. Please, Elias said, and the raw honesty in that single word nearly broke her. I've spent my whole life feeling like something was missing. Like I was waiting for someone. And then I saw you, and for the first time I felt whole. Aeryn's carefully constructed walls cracked. The blood full moon is in 3 weeks, she heard herself say, hating every word. Stay inside that night. Lock your doors. Don't let anyone in, no matter what you hear. His brow furrowed. Why? What happens during the blood moon? Everything, she thought. Your whole world is about to change, and I don't think either of us will survive it. But what she said was, just stay inside, Elias. She walked past him, forcing herself not to look back, forcing herself to ignore the way her wolf howled in protest at leaving their mate behind. She made it 5 steps before his voice stopped her. Luna Aeryn. She froze. He knew her name. Of course he knew her name. Everyone in the territory knew the Alpha's daughter. I'll see you again, he said. Not a question. A promise. And as Aeryn disappeared into the growing darkness, she realized with cold certainty that he was right. Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Are you watching from the USA? The UK? Maybe somewhere cozy with a cup of tea? Drop a comment and let me know, I love hearing from you all. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this story. This journey is just beginning, and it's going to get intense. Now, let's get back to Aeryn and Elias. 3 days passed, and Aeryn didn't sleep. She lay in her chambers in the pack house, staring at the ceiling while her wolf paced restlessly beneath her skin. The bond hummed like a living thing, a golden thread connecting her to a human she had no right to want. Every instinct told her to go to him, to claim him, to damn the consequences. But consequences were all she had left. You look terrible. Aeryn turned her head to find her younger sister Kira leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, silver eyes too knowing for someone barely 19. Where Aeryn had inherited their father's dark hair and serious demeanor, Kira was all wild energy and copper curls, the kind of wolf who laughed at rules and somehow never got caught breaking them. Thanks, Aeryn muttered. Seriously, what's wrong with you? Kira crossed the room and perched on the edge of the bed. You've been weird since market day. Did something happen? Everything happened. My entire future collapsed. Fate played the cruelest joke imaginable. I'm fine, Aeryn said. Liar. Kira poked her shoulder. Come on, big sister. Talk to me. Is it about the Luna ceremony? Because you know father's going to announce your bonding to Marcus soon, and if you're having second thoughts. Aeryn's stomach turned. Marcus. The pack's strongest warrior, loyal and deadly, with a wolf as black as midnight and absolutely no sense of humor. He would make a perfect mate for a Luna. Powerful. Pure-blooded. Everything the pack needed. Everything except hers. Marcus is a good choice, Aeryn said, the words tasting like ash. Marcus is boring, Kira corrected. He treats you like a political alliance, not a person. You deserve better than some arranged bond just because father thinks it'll strengthen the pack. If only Kira knew how much worse it could be. At least Marcus was pack. At least their bond would be acceptable, expected, celebrated. Not shameful. Not impossible. The pack comes first, Aeryn said quietly. That's what it means to be Luna. Kira's expression softened. It also means being happy, Aeryn. The moon goddess doesn't give us mates we can't love. Oh, but she does, Aeryn thought bitterly. She gives us mates we can't have. Before Kira could press further, a knock sounded at the door. Their father's second-in-command, Garrett, stood in the hallway, his scarred face grim. Your father wants to see you, he said to Aeryn. Now. Dread pooled in her stomach. Had someone seen her with Elias? Had the bond been discovered already? She followed Garrett through the pack house, past walls decorated with hunting trophies and portraits of former alphas. The building was more fortress than home, built from dark stone and ancient timber, designed to withstand attacks from rival packs and supernatural threats. She'd grown up here, trained here, learned every law and tradition that governed their kind, including the law that said humans could never be mates. Her father's office was on the top floor, overlooking the forest that stretched for miles in every direction. Alpha Donovan Silvercrest stood by the window, his broad shoulders blocking the afternoon light. He didn't turn when she entered. "There's been a disturbance," he said, his voice carrying the weight of command. 3 humans from the outer villages have gone missing in the past week. No bodies. No scent trails. Just, gone. Aeryn frowned. Rogues? No wolf scent at all. Now he turned to face her, and she saw the concern etched in the lines around his eyes. At 50, her father was still formidable, still deadly, but age and responsibility had started to show. Which means either something else is hunting in our territory, or someone is covering their tracks very well. "You want me to investigate? I want you to be careful." He crossed to his desk, pulling out a map marked with red circles. "The disappearances are clustered here, near the human settlements on the eastern border. I'm sending Marcus and a patrol to sweep the area, but I need you to handle the political side. Talk to the human leaders. Reassure them. Make sure they understand we're protecting them. The eastern border, where Elias likely lived, based on the direction he'd come from in the marketplace." "I can do that," Aeryn said, trying to keep her voice steady. Her father studied her with those sharp alpha eyes that missed nothing. "You've seemed distracted lately. Is everything all right?" "Yes, sir. Because your bonding ceremony with Marcus is in 2 months, and I need to know you're committed to this pack, to your role as future Luna." No hesitation. No doubts. Every word was a knife. Aeryn forced herself to meet his gaze, forced herself to lie to the man who'd raised her to value honor above all else. "No doubts," she said. He nodded slowly. "Good. Because these are dangerous times, Aeryn. Whatever's taking those humans, it's bold enough to hunt in Silvercrest territory. We can't afford weakness right now. We can't afford distractions." The word hung in the air like an accusation. "I understand," Aeryn whispered. "I hope so." Her father's expression softened slightly. "You're going to be a great Luna. You have your mother's strength, her wisdom. She would be proud of the woman you've become." The mention of her mother, dead these past 10 years from a rogue attack, nearly shattered Aeryn's composure. Because her mother had been brave and fierce and absolutely devoted to pack law. She never would have tolerated a human mate. She would have rejected the bond without hesitation. Aeryn wished desperately that she could be that strong. "I'll leave for the eastern border tomorrow," she said. "Take Kira with you." "And Aeryn?" Her father's voice stopped her at the door. "Stay away from the humans as much as possible. We protect them, but we don't befriend them. Remember that." Too late, she thought as she left his office. Far, far too late. Because tomorrow she would go to the eastern border, and tomorrow she would have to face the one human she should never see again. Her mate. The eastern border smelled like pine and secrets. Aeryn stood at the edge of the human settlement, watching smoke curl from chimneys as the sun dipped toward the horizon. Kira prowled beside her, restless and curious, while Marcus and his patrol spread out through the forest to search for signs of the missing humans. "This place gives me the creeps," Kira muttered. "Too quiet. Where's everyone?" She was right. The settlement should have been bustling with evening activity, but the streets were nearly empty. A few faces peered from windows, pale and frightened, before curtains snapped shut. "They're scared," Aeryn said. 3 disappearances in a week would terrify anyone. Then let's find whoever's responsible and rip their throat out. Kira's eyes flashed gold. Problem solved. If only it were that simple. But Aeryn's instincts were screaming that something was wrong here, something deeper than rogue wolves or territorial disputes. The air tasted strange, electric, like the moment before lightning struck. And underneath it all, faint but unmistakable, was Elias's scent. Her wolf surged forward, following the trail before Aeryn could stop her. She found herself walking toward a small building at the end of the main street, a shop with faded letters above the door, Fletcher's Books and Antiquities. "Aeryn?" Kira called after her. "Where are you going?" "To talk to the locals," Aeryn lied. "Split up. Cover more ground." Kira looked suspicious but nodded, heading toward the tavern where voices murmured behind thick walls. Aeryn waited until her sister disappeared, then pushed open the bookshop door. The bell chimed softly. Inside, the shop was cramped and chaotic, every surface covered with stacks of books, rolled maps, strange artifacts that looked older than the settlement itself. Dust motes danced in the fading light from a single window. And there, behind a cluttered desk, was Elias. He looked up from the book he was reading, and the bond slammed into Aeryn all over again. His eyes widened with recognition, with something that looked dangerously close to relief. "You came," he said quietly. "I'm here about the disappearances." Aeryn stayed near the door, keeping distance between them even though every cell in her body screamed to close it. "I need to ask you some questions." "Right. Official business." A ghost of a smile crossed his face, sad and knowing. "You're the one they sent to calm the frightened humans. Do you know anything about the missing people?" "I know they all disappeared during the new moon." Elias stood, moving around the desk with careful deliberation. "I know there were no signs of struggle, no screams, nothing. They just vanished from locked rooms and guarded homes." Aeryn's instincts prickled. "How do you know about locked rooms and guards?" "The reports didn't include those details." "Because I pay attention." He stopped a few feet away, close enough that his scent wrapped around her like a caress. "Because strange things have been happening in this settlement for months, and everyone's too scared to talk about it. But I keep records. I document things." "What kind of things?" Elias hesitated, then pulled a leather journal from beneath a stack of papers. He flipped it open, revealing pages covered in careful handwriting and sketches. "Shadows that move without bodies. Voices and languages no one speaks. Animals acting strange, migrating at the wrong times, attacking when they should flee." Aeryn took the journal, scanning the entries. Her blood ran cold as she recognized symbols in the margins, ancient pack markings that hadn't been used in generations. Warnings about blood magic and forbidden rituals. "Where did you get these symbols?" she demanded. "I didn't get them anywhere. I dreamed them." Elias's voice was steady, but she could hear the fear underneath. "Every night for the past 3 months, I've had the same dream. A wolf made of moonlight and shadow, speaking in a language I shouldn't understand but somehow do. It tells me something's coming. Something that's been asleep for a long time." The journal trembled in Aeryn's hands. This was impossible. Humans didn't have prophetic dreams. They didn't understand the old tongue. Unless... "Have you always had dreams like this?" she asked carefully. "No. They started the night of the last blood moon." He met her eyes, and she saw the question there, the desperate need to understand what was happening to him. "The same night I started feeling like I was being pulled toward something. Toward someone. Toward me," Aeryn thought. The bond formed during the blood moon. Before she could respond, a howl split the air. Marcus's warning call. "Danger." Aeryn shoved the journal back at Elias. "Lock your doors. Don't leave this building until sunrise." "What's happening?" "Just do it." She ran from the shop, shifting mid-stride. Her clothes tore as fur erupted across her skin, as her bones were formed into something faster, stronger, deadly. Her wolf burst from the shop and sprinted toward the forest where Marcus's howls grew more frantic. She found the patrol at the northern edge of the settlement, surrounding something that made her skid to a halt. A body. Or what was left of one. The missing human lay in a clearing, but he wasn't dead. He was changing. His skin rippled like water, his bones cracking and reforming, his screams gurgling into something animal and wrong. But this wasn't a werewolf transformation. This was something twisted, unnatural, like someone had tried to force a wolf into a body that wasn't meant to hold it. "What is this?" Marcus snarled, his massive black wolf circling the thrashing figure. Before Aeryn could answer, the changing man's eyes snapped open. They glowed red, not gold. Wrong. Everything about this was wrong. The creature lunged at Marcus with impossible speed. The two collided in a blur of fangs and claws, and Aeryn realized with horror that the thing was strong, too strong for something half-transformed. She launched herself at it, teeth bared, but the creature twisted away. Its attention locked onto something behind her, and a sound emerged from its throat that chilled her blood. A word. Broken and distorted, but unmistakable. Catalyst. Aeryn spun around and saw Elias standing at the edge of the clearing, his face white with shock. He hadn't listened. He'd followed her. And the creature was looking at him like he was prey. No. Not prey. Like he was the answer to something. The creature charged toward Elias, and Aeryn's wolf moved on pure instinct. She intercepted it mid-leap, her jaws closing around its throat. They hit the ground hard, rolling through dead leaves and dirt. The creature's claws raked across her side, hot pain flaring, but she held on. Marcus joined her, his powerful jaws clamping onto the creature's hind leg. Together, they dragged it down, pinned it, forced it to submit. But as the creature's struggles weakened, it turned its red eyes toward Elias one last time. 3 weeks, it rasped in that horrible, broken voice. Blood moon. The lost prince wakes. Then it went still, its body dissolving into black smoke that smelled like death and dark magic. Aeryn shifted back to human form, gasping, her side bleeding. Kira appeared from the trees, tossing her a cloak. But all Aeryn could focus on was Elias, standing frozen in the clearing, staring at the spot where the creature had vanished. What did it mean? He whispered. Lost prince. What does that mean? And Aeryn realized with terrible certainty that she was about to find out. The pack house was in chaos by the time they returned. Word of the corrupted creature had spread through Silvercrest like wildfire. Warriors stood guard at every entrance, eyes glowing gold in the darkness, while scouts reported back from patrols with increasingly disturbing news. 2 more bodies found in the forest, both showing signs of the same twisted transformation. Both dead before the change could complete. And both whispering about a lost prince before they dissolved into smoke. Aeryn sat in the medical wing, gritting her teeth as the pack healer stitched the gashes across her ribs. The wounds burned with an unnatural heat, like the creature's claws had been dipped in poison. You're lucky, the healer muttered, threading another stitch. Whatever that thing was, its claws carried dark magic. Another inch deeper and I couldn't have saved you. How long until I heal? For a normal wolf? A week. For you? The healer tied off the last stitch with a knowing look. You're stronger than most, Luna. You'll be fighting ready in 3 days. Aeryn didn't feel strong. She felt like her world was unraveling thread by thread, and she had no idea how to stop it. The door burst open and Kira rushed in, her face flushed with excitement and worry. Father wants to see you. Now. And Aeryn, he brought the human. Her heart stopped. What? Elias Fletcher. Father's guards escorted him here an hour ago. They're questioning him about the creature, about what it said. Kira lowered her voice. Why did that thing call him a catalyst? What does he have to do with any of this? Everything, Aeryn thought. But she didn't understand how yet. She found her father in the council chamber, a circular room with a domed ceiling painted with the phases of the moon. The pack's inner circle sat in high-backed chairs, Marcus, Garrett, the head enforcer, the spiritual elder. And in the center of the room, surrounded by wolves who could tear him apart with a thought, stood Elias. He looked small and fragile in the harsh torchlight, but his chin was raised and his eyes were defiant. When he saw Aeryn enter, relief flickered across his face before he masked it. Ah, my daughter. Alpha Donovan's voice was cold, controlled. Perhaps you can explain why a human witnessed a classified pack threat and lived to tell about it. He followed me into the forest, Aeryn said carefully. I didn't know he was there until the creature attacked. Convenient. Marcus leaned forward, his dark eyes fixed on Elias with barely concealed hostility. Or perhaps he was exactly where he meant to be. Perhaps he's working with whatever's creating these abominations. That's ridiculous, Aeryn snapped. He's a scholar, not a dark mage. Then explained the creature's words. Her father stood, descending from his chair to circle Elias like a predator sizing up prey. Catalyst. Lost prince. It spoke to you, human. Why? I don't know. Elias's voice didn't waver, even a sweat beaded on his forehead. I've never seen anything like that before. I don't know what it wanted or why it called me those things. Lies. Marcus was on his feet now, moving to block Elias's path to the door. I can smell the deception on you. You smell fear, Elias corrected, and Aeryn's wolf purred with approval at his courage. Because I'm a human surrounded by werewolves who look like they want to kill me. But I'm not lying. I don't have answers. The spiritual elder, a wizened woman named Moira, raised a gnarled hand. Perhaps we're asking the wrong questions. She fixed Elias with eyes that had seen a century of pack secrets. Tell us about your family, boy. Your bloodline. I don't have one. Elias's jaw tightened. I'm an orphan. I was left at a church in the outer territories when I was an infant. No note, no family name, nothing. How very interesting. Moira's voice was soft, dangerous. An orphan with no history, who dreams in the old tongue and draws ancient pack symbols. An orphan whom corrupted creatures recognize on sight. Aeryn's blood ran cold. She saw where this was leading, saw the conclusion forming in her father's eyes. There's a story, Moira continued, standing slowly, from the old days, before the packs unified. A story about the royal bloodline, the first wolves blessed by the moon goddess herself. They say the last heir vanished 25 years ago, stolen by enemies who wanted to end the royal line forever. Myths, Marcus growled. The royal bloodline is extinct. Is it? Moira moved closer to Elias, studying him with an intensity that made Aeryn want to step between them. The heir would be about your age now, human. And the prophecy said he would be hidden in plain sight, his wolf locked away until the time was right. This is insane, Elias said, but his voice shook. I'm not a werewolf. I don't have a wolf. I'm nobody. The blood moon is 3 weeks away, Moira said quietly. The same blood moon your dreams warned about. If you carry royal blood, if you're the lost heir, the moon will force your first transformation whether you're ready or not. Silence fell over the chamber like a shroud. Aeryn's father was the first to speak. If this human carries royal blood, if there's even a chance the prophecy is real, then we have a problem. Sure you'd come, he said. I shouldn't have. Aeryn closed the door behind her, leaning against it. This is dangerous for both of us. More dangerous than being imprisoned by werewolves who think I'm some kind of lost prince? A bitter laugh escaped him. I keep waiting to wake up. To find out this is all some fever dream. It's not a dream. Aeryn moved closer, drawn by the bond that had only grown stronger since the marketplace. And I think Moira might be right. About your bloodline. That's impossible. I'm human. Are you? She knelt in front of him, close enough to see the gold flecks she'd never noticed in his brown eyes. You dream in the old tongue. You draw symbols that haven't been used in generations. And when that creature looked at you, it knew what you were. Elias's hands were shaking. Even if it's true, even if I do have some ancient werewolf blood, what does that mean? I've lived my whole life as a human. I don't know how to be anything else. The blood moon will change that. Aeryn's voice was gentle. If you have a wolf, it will force your transformation. And if you're truly the lost heir, if you carry royal blood, you'll be more powerful than you can imagine. I don't want power. I just want to understand why this is happening. He reached out hesitantly, his fingers hovering inches from her face. Why I feel connected to you. Why looking at you feels like coming home. The mate bond thrummed between them, golden and impossible and absolutely forbidden. Because we're fated mates, Aeryn whispered. The words hung in the air like a confession. Elias's eyes widened, his hand dropping to his side. Mates. Like, actual mates? That's real? For werewolves, yes. The moon goddess chooses our perfect match, our other half. When you find your mate, you know it instantly. The bond is unbreakable. But I'm human. Exactly. Aeryn stood abruptly, needing distance. Humans can't be fated mates. It's impossible. It's never happened in recorded pack history. When I felt the bond snap into place in the marketplace, I thought fate had made a mistake. And now? Now I think fate knew exactly what she was doing. Aeryn turned to face him. You're not fully human, Elias. You never were. Your wolf has been dormant, locked away by whatever curse or magic stole you from your bloodline. But it's waking up, and when it does, everything changes. Elias was quiet for a long moment, processing. If I'm your mate, why did you run from me? Why hide it? Because I'm supposed to bond with Marcus in 2 months. Because my father expects me to strengthen the pack through a political alliance. Because admitting I'm mated to someone I thought was human would destroy everything I've worked for. The truth poured out of her, 25 years of duty and expectations crashing against the wall of this impossible bond. I've spent my entire life preparing to be Luna. I can't throw that away for a mate I'm not supposed to have. So what, you were just going to reject the bond? Pretend I don't exist? Yes. The word tasted like poison. Pain flashed across his face, quickly masked. Well, at least you're honest. But I can't. Aeryn's voice broke. I've tried to stay away from you, tried to ignore the bond, but it's killing me. My wolf is going insane. And now you're locked in here, in danger, and every instinct I have is screaming at me to protect you. Then protect me. Elias stood, closing the distance between them in 2 steps. Help me understand what I am. Help me through whatever's coming during the blood moon. If I do that, if I acknowledge this bond, I lose everything. And if you don't, you lose yourself. He cupped her face with gentle hands, and the touch sent electricity through every nerve. I see you, Aeryn. The real you, underneath all the duty and responsibility. You're terrified and brave and so tired of being strong all the time. You don't have to carry everything alone. Tears burned in her eyes. You don't understand what you're asking. Then help me understand. Before she could respond, the door crashed open. Kira stood in the doorway, her face pale with panic. We have a problem, she gasped. Marcus knows. Aeryn's blood turned to ice. Knows what? About the mate bond. Someone told him. He's gathering the council right now, demanding you reject Elias publicly or step down as heir. The world tilted. This was it. The choice Moira had warned about, arriving far sooner than Aeryn had expected. There's more, Kira continued. Guards just found another body at the eastern border. But this one was different. This one completed the transformation before it died, and they found something carved into the ground beside it. What? Kira's voice was barely a whisper. A message. It said, the prince must die before the blood moon, or the old magic returns. Elias's hand found Aeryn's in the darkness, their fingers intertwining. Someone wants you dead, Aeryn said quietly. Someone powerful enough to create those corrupted creatures, powerful enough to know what you are. Then I guess hiding isn't an option anymore. Elias's voice was steadier than hers. We need answers. About my bloodline, about these creatures, about why someone wants to stop my transformation. The archives, Aeryn said suddenly. The pack's oldest records, the ones even my father doesn't look at. If there's information about the royal bloodline, about the lost heir, it would be there. Then let's go. If we do this, there's no going back. Marcus will call for your execution. The pack will demand I reject you. Elias squeezed her hand. I know. And in that moment, Aeryn made her choice. Come on, she said, pulling him toward the door. We're breaking you out of here. The archives were buried deep beneath the pack house, carved into stone that predated the settlement by centuries. Aeryn led Elias and Kira through tunnels that twisted like a labyrinth, lit only by torches that cast dancing shadows on ancient walls. Behind them, she could hear the alarm bells ringing, hear Marcus's furious roars as he discovered the empty cell. They'll kill us for this, Kira whispered, but there was excitement in her eyes rather than fear. Breaking out a prisoner, defying the Alpha's direct order, accessing forbidden records. We're talking exile at minimum. Then don't come, Aeryn said. This isn't your fight. Please. You're my sister. And honestly, watching you finally break the rules is the most interesting thing that's happened in years. Kira grinned, fierce and wild. Plus, I want to know what all the fuss is about with this human. Not human, Elias said quietly. Apparently. They reached a massive iron door covered in warning symbols. Aeryn pressed her palm against the center, letting her alpha blood activate the ancient lock. The door groaned open, revealing a chamber filled with scrolls, books, and artifacts that hummed with old magic. Start searching, Aeryn commanded. Look for anything about the royal bloodline, the lost heir, prophecies about the blood moon. They scattered through the archives, pulling down dusty volumes and unrolling maps that crumbled at the edges. Minutes passed like hours as Aeryn's heart hammered against her ribs. They didn't have much time before Marcus and the guards found them. Here. Elias called from a corner stacked with leather-bound journals. I found something. Aeryn rushed to his side. He'd opened a book that looked older than the packhouse itself, its pages yellowed and fragile. The text was written in the old tongue, but even Aeryn could only read fragments. What does it say? Kira peered over his shoulder. It's about the curse. Elias's finger traced the archaic script, and Aeryn realized with shock that he was reading it fluently. 25 years ago, the royal family was attacked by a coalition of rival packs who feared their power. The king and queen were slaughtered, but their infant son survived. To protect him, the court mage cast a binding spell, locking away his wolf, erasing his scent, making him appear fully human. So you really are the lost prince, Kira breathed. The spell was supposed to break when I turned 25. Elias looked up, his face pale. Which is in 3 weeks. On the blood moon. Aeryn's stomach dropped. That's why the creatures are hunting you. Someone knows the spell is breaking. They want to finish what they started 25 years ago. But who? Kira asked. The rival packs were destroyed after the massacre. Father told us the rebellion was crushed. Maybe not all of them. Elias flipped through more pages, then stopped, his expression turning to horror. Oh no. What is it? The binding spell. It says here that when it breaks, if the heir has found his true mate, their bond will amplify his transformation. He'll be stronger than any royal wolf before him. Elias's voice shook as he read. But if the mate bond is rejected or severed before the transformation completes, the magical backlash will kill them both. Silence fell over the archives like a death sentence. That's why Marcus is demanding you reject the bond, Kira said slowly. Someone told him what would happen. Someone wants both of you dead. Aeryn's mind raced. Marcus had been loyal for years, her father's most trusted warrior. But what if his loyalty wasn't to the pack? What if he was working with whoever had cursed Elias? Footsteps echoed in the tunnel above. Shouts. The guards were close. We need to leave, Aeryn said. Now. Where? Elias grabbed the ancient book, tucking it under his arm. The whole pack is hunting us. The old temple. Kira was already moving toward a side passage Aeryn had almost forgotten existed. In the deep forest, where the first pack used to worship. It's been abandoned for decades, but it's protected by ancient wards. Even Marcus can't break through without an alpha. They ran through darkness, following Kira's lead as the tunnels grew narrower and more treacherous. Aeryn could hear pursuit behind them, could smell Marcus's rage-fueled scent getting closer. Finally, they burst out into the forest, the night air cold and sharp. Aeryn grabbed Elias's hand, pulling him forward as Kira shifted into her copper wolf and sprinted ahead. But Marcus was faster. He appeared from the shadows, his massive black wolf blocking their path. Behind him stood a dozen warriors, all shifted, all ready to kill. Marcus transformed back into human form, his expression twisted with betrayal and fury. You would throw away everything for him? A human? A threat to the pack? He's not a threat, Aeryn said, stepping in front of Elias. He's the rightful heir to the royal bloodline. He has more claim to leadership than any of us. Exactly why he must die. Marcus's eyes glowed with malice. The royal line was too powerful. They ruled with absolute authority, answering to no council, no law but their own. We can't allow that to return. Understanding crashed over Aeryn like ice water. You knew. You've known what he was all along. I've known since the moment your father's scouts reported a human drawing royal symbols in the eastern settlement. Marcus smiled, cold and cruel. I'm the one who told the old enemies where to find him. I'm the one creating the corrupted creatures to hunt him down. And when the blood moon rises, I'll make sure neither of you survives to see it. You traitor, Kira snarled, her wolf form bristling with rage. I'm a patriot. I'm saving the pack from tyranny. Marcus gestured, and the warriors moved forward. Take them. The alpha wants his daughter alive, but the human dies tonight. Aeryn's wolf exploded from her skin, her transformation fueled by fury and desperation. She launched herself at Marcus, claws extended, teeth bared. They collided mid-air, a blur of fangs and violence. Run, she screamed at Elias and Kira. But Elias didn't run. He stood frozen, staring at his hands as they began to glow with golden light. The ancient book had fallen to the ground, its pages open to a prophecy written in blood-red ink. Aeryn, he said, his voice strange and distant. Something's happening. The air around him shimmered. His eyes flashed gold, then silver, then gold again. Power radiated from him in waves that made every wolf in the clearing whimper and back away. Impossible, Marcus breathed. The spell isn't supposed to break for 3 more weeks. The mate bond, Kira whispered in awe. It's accelerating the transformation. Elias screamed as his body began to change, but this wasn't like the corrupted creatures. This was pure, natural, devastating. His bones cracked and reformed, fur rippling across his skin in waves of silver and white. And then Marcus moved, faster than thought, a blade appearing in his hand as he lunged toward Elias's transforming body. Aeryn threw herself between them, but she was too slow, too far away. The blade pierced her chest, cold steel sliding between ribs. She heard Elias roar, heard the earth itself seem to shake. But the world was already fading to black as she fell, her blood soaking into the forest floor. The last thing she saw was Elias's wolf emerging, massive and terrible and beautiful, his eyes burning with ancient power and absolute fury. Then darkness swallowed her whole. Aeryn woke to the taste of copper and moonlight. Her chest burned where the blade had struck, but when she pressed a hand to the wound, she felt only smooth skin beneath torn fabric. No blood. No pain. Just a faint silver glow fading from her fingertips. You're awake. Kira's voice was tight with relief. Thank the moon goddess. I thought we'd lost you. Aeryn sat up slowly, her vision swimming. They were in the old temple, just as Kira had planned. Ancient stone columns rose around them, carved with symbols that pulsed with protective magic. Dawn light filtered through cracks in the domed ceiling, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. How am I alive? Aeryn whispered. That blade went straight through my heart. He healed you. Kira gestured across the temple. Elias stood at the far end of the chamber, his back to them, staring at his reflection in a pool of spring water. He was human again, but everything about him had changed. He stood taller, moved with predatory grace, and even from across the room, Aeryn could feel the power radiating from him like heat from a forge. The transformation completed, Kira explained quietly. The moment Marcus stabbed you, something inside Elias just broke open. His wolf emerged fully formed, massive and silver white like the wolves from the old stories. He destroyed half of Marcus's warriors in seconds. And Marcus? Escaped. But barely. Kira's expression darkened. Elias would have killed him, should have killed him, but he was too focused on saving you. The mate bond pulled him back, made him choose healing you over revenge. Aeryn stood on shaky legs, the mate bond thrumming stronger than ever now that Elias's wolf had awakened. She crossed the temple floor, her bare feet silent on ancient stone. Elias, she said softly. He turned, and her breath caught. His eyes were no longer ordinary brown. They held flecks of gold and silver that shifted like starlight, ancient and otherworldly. The boy from the bookshop was gone, replaced by something far more dangerous and magnificent. I can hear everything, he said, wonder and fear mingling in his voice. Heartbeats in the forest a mile away. Wind moving through individual leaves. The earth breathing beneath our feet. Is this what it's like for you? All the time? You'll learn to control it. Aeryn took another step closer. The heightened senses, the strength, all of it. I'll teach you. You almost died because of me. His hands clenched into fists. Marcus was right. I am a threat. My existence puts you in danger. Marcus is a traitor and a liar. Aeryn closed the distance between them, cupping his face in her hands. You saved my life. The mate bond, your power, it healed a wound that should have killed me instantly. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I couldn't lose you. Elias leaned into her touch, and she felt him trembling. When I saw that blade go through your chest, when I felt you dying through the bond, something inside me just awakened. The wolf, the magic, everything my bloodline is supposed to be. It all came flooding in at once. That's what the prophecy meant, Kira said, moving to join them. The mate bond amplified your transformation. Made you stronger than you would have been otherwise. Which means Marcus will come for us again. Elias pulled away from Aeryn, pacing like the caged wolf he'd become. He knows what I am now. He knows I'm a threat to whatever plan he's been building. Then we go on the offensive. Aeryn's voice hardened with determination. We take the evidence from the archives, the proof of his betrayal, and we bring it to my father. Force the pack to see Marcus for what he really is. Your father ordered you to bond with Marcus, Kira pointed out. What makes you think he'll believe you over his most trusted warrior? Because I'm his daughter. Because I'm the future Luna. And because I have the lost heir of the royal bloodline standing beside me as proof. Elias stopped pacing. You really think your father will accept me? Accept us? I don't know. Aeryn met his eyes, letting him see her fear and her hope. But I'm done hiding. I'm done pretending the mate bond doesn't exist. You're mine, Elias. The moon goddess herself chose us for each other, and I won't reject that gift, not for Marcus, not for the pack, not for anyone. Something fierce and tender sparked in his expression. You're choosing me. Over everything you've worked for. I'm choosing us. There's a difference. Aeryn smiled, small and genuine. Besides, you're royalty now. Technically, you outrank everyone, including my father. I don't know how to be a prince. I barely know how to be a wolf. Lucky for you, you have an excellent teacher. Kira grinned, some of her usual mischief returning. And a sister-in-law who's very good at causing chaos. We're not bonded yet, Aeryn said. Please. You two are so mated it's nauseating. Kira wrinkled her nose. The whole temple smells like mate bond pheromones. It's like being trapped in a romance novel. Despite everything, Aeryn laughed. It felt good, felt human, felt like maybe they could actually survive this. So what's the plan? Elias asked. We can't hide here forever. The blood moon is still 2 weeks away, and Marcus knows these woods as well as any of us. We go back. Aeryn's voice was steady, certain. We walk into the pack house together, we present the evidence, and we demand justice. They'll try to kill me the moment I step through the door. Let them try. Aeryn's eyes flashed gold. You're the most powerful wolf in this territory now. The royal bloodline was chosen by the moon goddess herself to lead all packs. Your authority supersedes even an alpha's. Power doesn't mean anything if I don't know how to use it. Then we have 2 weeks to teach you. Kira cracked her knuckles. 2 weeks to turn a bookish human into a warrior prince. Should be interesting. Elias looked between the two sisters, these fierce women who had risked everything for him, and something shifted in his expression. The fear receded, replaced by determination. Okay, he said. Teach me. For the next hour, they planned. Kira scouted the perimeter while Aeryn showed Elias the basics of controlling his shift, of channeling his wolf's strength without losing himself to instinct. He was a quick learner, his royal blood giving him advantages even experienced wolves didn't possess. But as the sun climbed higher, painting the temple in shades of crimson and gold, a howl echoed through the forest. Then another. And another. The pack is gathering, Aeryn said quietly. Marcus is calling them to hunt. How many? Elias asked. All of them. Kira returned from her scouting, her face grim. Every warrior, every enforcer. Marcus told them you're a threat to the pack, that you corrupted the Luna air with dark magic. Half of them already believe him. Aeryn's heart sank. This was worse than she'd imagined. Marcus had turned the entire pack against them. We can't fight them all, Elias said. No, Aeryn straightened her shoulders, making a decision that terrified and empowered her in equal measure. But we don't have to. There's one wolf Marcus can't control, one authority even he has to answer to. Your father, Kira breathed. Exactly. If we can reach him, if we can make him listen before Marcus poisons him completely against us, we might have a chance. That's a big if. It's the only if we have. Aeryn turned to Elias, taking his hands in hers. I need you to trust me. Can you do that? He didn't hesitate. With my life. Good. Because we're about to walk into the lion's den, and the only way we survive is together. Outside, the howls grew closer, a symphony of violence and betrayal closing in. But Aeryn wasn't afraid anymore. She had her mate, her sister, and the truth on her side. It would have to be enough. They walked through the forest like ghosts returning from the dead. Aeryn led the way, her head high despite the dried blood on her torn clothes. Elias moved beside her, his newfound power contained but palpable, a storm waiting to break. Kira flanked them, her copper wolf form bristling with protective fury. The pack had gathered in the great clearing before the pack house, hundreds of wolves in both human and shifted forms. They parted reluctantly as Aeryn approached, whispers and growls following in her wake. Marcus stood on the raised platform beside Alpha Donovan, his face a mask of righteous anger. There, he shouted, pointing at them. The traitor Luna and the corrupted human who bewitched her. That's enough, Marcus. Aeryn's voice cut through the murmurs like a blade. She climbed the steps to the platform, forcing Marcus to give ground. Elias followed, and she felt his tension through the bond, felt how close his wolf was to the surface. Her father sat in the Alpha's chair, his expression unreadable. Aeryn. You defied a direct order. You freed a prisoner and accessed forbidden archives. Give me one reason why I shouldn't strip your title and exile you right now. Because Marcus is the traitor, not me. Aeryn pulled the ancient book from beneath her cloak, slamming it onto the platform. This is from the Royal Archives. It details the massacre of the royal family 25 years ago and the binding curse placed on their infant son. Old history, Marcus interjected. What does that have to do with anything? Everything. Elias stepped forward, and Aeryn felt the shift in the air as his power manifested. Wolves throughout the clearing whimpered, instinctively recognizing royal blood. Because I am that son. The lost heir everyone thought was dead. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Alpha Donovan leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. Prove it. Elias closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, they blazed with silver-gold light. His skin began to glow with the same ethereal radiance Aeryn had seen when he healed her. Ancient symbols appeared on his arms, marks of the royal bloodline that couldn't be faked or forged. The binding spell broke when his wolf awakened, Aeryn explained. The mate bond between us accelerated his transformation, gave him access to his full power. Mate bond? Her father's voice was dangerous. You're claiming this human is your fated mate? He's not human. He never was. And yes, he's my mate. Aeryn took Elias's hand, the touch sending visible sparks of golden energy between them. The moon goddess chose us for each other. This is madness. Marcus moved toward them, his body tensing for attack. The royal bloodline was destroyed for good reason. They ruled as tyrants, answerable to no one. We can't allow this abomination to claim power. Is that why you betrayed the pack? Aeryn turned on him, her voice ringing with accusation. Why you've been creating corrupted creatures to hunt Elias? Why you tried to kill both of us last night? I did what was necessary to protect the pack from royal tyranny. You murdered innocent humans. You tried to kill the future Luna. Kira shifted back to human form, her voice shaking with rage. You're not a protector, Marcus. You're a monster. The crowd erupted in angry shouts, wolves taking sides, some supporting Marcus's claims about royal tyranny, others horrified by the revelation of his crimes. Silence. Alpha Donovan's command cracked like thunder. The clearing fell quiet. He stood slowly, descending from his chair to stand before Elias. If you truly carry royal blood, then prove it beyond symbols and light shows. Prove it the way our ancestors did. Aeryn's stomach dropped. She knew what was coming. A challenge, her father continued. You against our strongest warrior. If you win, your claim to royal heritage is validated. If you lose, you submit to pack judgment. Father, no, Aeryn protested. Marcus tried to murder us. He doesn't deserve the honor of a formal challenge. Then let me face him. Marcus stepped forward, a cruel smile on his face. Let the pretender prove his worth against the wolf who knows all his weaknesses. Elias squeezed Aeryn's hand, then released it. I accept. You don't have to do this, Aeryn whispered. You've only been a wolf for a few hours. Marcus has trained his entire life. I know. Elias's voice was calm, certain. But this is the only way to end it. The only way the pack will accept me. The crowd formed a circle, wolves pressing close to witness the challenge. Marcus shifted first, his massive black wolf snarling with anticipation. He'd killed dozens of opponents in formal challenges. He was fast, brutal, and utterly without mercy. Elias closed his eyes, and Aeryn felt his fear through the bond, felt his uncertainty. But underneath it was something stronger. Love. Determination. The absolute refusal to lose her. His transformation was nothing like Marcus's. Where the warrior shifted with practiced efficiency, Elias's change was a storm of silver light and ancient power. His wolf emerged larger than any Aeryn had ever seen, his fur pure white with silver markings that matched the royal symbols on his human form. Marcus attacked immediately, going for the throat with killer precision. But Elias was faster. He moved like water, like moonlight, dodging the attack and countering with a strike that sent Marcus tumbling across the clearing. The black wolf recovered quickly, circling, looking for an opening. They clashed again and again, a blur of fangs and fury. Marcus fought with experience and cunning, using every dirty trick he knew. But Elias fought with something Marcus could never match, the pure, unfiltered power of the royal bloodline. And he was learning. Every exchange taught him something new about his wolf, about the strength flowing through his veins, about the instincts that guided his movements. Finally, Marcus made a mistake. He overextended on a lunge, leaving his flank exposed. Elias seized the opportunity, his jaws closing around Marcus's throat. He slammed the black wolf to the ground, pinning him with overwhelming force. The clearing fell silent. Elias could kill him. One bite, one twist, and the traitor would be dead. Aeryn could feel his wolf's desire for vengeance, for justice, for blood payment. But Elias released him. He shifted back to human form, standing over Marcus's prone wolf. I didn't come here to rule through fear or violence, he said, his voice carrying to every wolf in the clearing. The royal bloodline failed because they forgot what true leadership means. Service. Protection. Putting the pack before personal power. He looked at Alpha Donovan. I don't want to challenge your authority. I don't want to tear apart what you've built. I just want to live in peace with my mate and help protect this pack from the real threats. Marcus shifted back, blood dripping from bite marks on his shoulder. His face was twisted with hate. You should have killed me. Probably. Elias's eyes flashed gold. But I'm not you. Alpha Donovan studied them both for a long moment. Then he turned to the crowd. The challenge is decided. Elias Fletcher has proven his worth and his bloodline. Marcus, you are stripped of your rank and will face judgment for your crimes against the pack. Guards moved forward to seize Marcus, but he was already running, shifting mid-stride and disappearing into the forest. Some of the warriors gave chase, but Aeryn knew they wouldn't catch him. Marcus knew these woods too well. Her father approached Elias, and Aeryn tensed, ready to defend her mate if necessary. But Donovan simply placed a hand on Elias's shoulder. The mate bond between you and my daughter is real, he said quietly. I can see it, feel it in the air between you. And while this is not the future I planned for Aeryn, I will not stand against the moon goddess's choice. Relief flooded through Aeryn so powerfully she nearly collapsed. However, her father continued, his voice hardening, you have much to learn about being a wolf, about pack politics, about leadership. And Marcus is still out there, still a threat. I know, Elias said. And I'm ready to learn. Donovan nodded slowly. Then welcome to Silvercrest Pack, Lost Prince. Let's hope you survive what comes next. 2 weeks later, on the night of the blood moon, Aeryn stood beside Elias on the highest point of Pack territory, watching the moon rise like a crimson promise. The forest below them blazed with celebration. Bonfires dotted the clearing where the Pack had gathered to honor the blood moon and witness the official bonding ceremony between their Luna and the lost prince. Music drifted up from below, drums and howls blending into something primal and joyful. Nervous? Aeryn asked, taking Elias's hand. Terrified, he admitted with a smile. I'm about to bond with a woman who can literally tear me apart if I forget our anniversary. Good thing you have an excellent memory. She leaned into him, breathing in his scent, pine and old books and something uniquely him. Besides, I'm the one who should be nervous. You're royalty. I'm just an alpha's daughter. Just? Elias turned to face her, cupping her cheek with gentle fingers. You're the woman who risked everything to save me. Who chose love over duty, truth over tradition. You're the bravest person I've ever met, Aeryn. She kissed him then, soft and sweet and full of promise. The mate bond sang between them, golden and unbreakable, a connection that had survived betrayal and violence and impossible odds. When they finally pulled apart, Kira was climbing up the hill toward them, her ceremonial robes flowing behind her. Hate to interrupt the romance, but the Pack is waiting. And Father's getting impatient. They descended together, joining the celebration that had transformed the clearing into something magical. Wolves danced around the bonfires, children chased each other through the crowd, and the elders sat in places of honor, watching everything with ancient, knowing eyes. Moira stood at the center of it all, beside a stone altar covered in moonflowers and silver ribbons. Alpha Donovan waited there too, his expression proud and just a little bit sad, like he was letting go of something precious. The crowd quieted as Aeryn and Elias approached the altar, standing before Moira while the Pack formed a circle around them. We gather under the blood moon to witness a bond blessed by the moon goddess herself, Moira began, her voice carrying across the clearing. A bond that defied tradition, that overcame impossible obstacles, that proved love is stronger than fear or duty. She produced a silver cord, ancient and gleaming with magic. Aeryn Silvercrest, daughter of Alpha Donovan, future Luna of this Pack. Do you accept Elias Fletcher, lost heir of the royal bloodline, as your fated mate? Do you swear to stand beside him in strength and weakness, in joy and sorrow, until the moon falls from the sky? I do, Aeryn said, her voice clear and unwavering. Elias Fletcher, son of the last true king, bearer of royal blood and ancient power. Do you accept Aeryn Silvercrest as your fated mate? Do you swear to honor and protect her, to share your strength and your heart, until the stars go dark? I do. Elias's eyes never left Aeryn's face. Moira wrapped the silver cord around their joined hands, binding them together. Then by the power of the moon goddess, by the ancient laws that govern our kind, I declare you bonded. Two souls joined as one, two wolves united in purpose and love. The cord flared with brilliant light, then dissolved into golden sparks that sank into their skin. Aeryn gasped as the bond deepened, as she felt Elias's emotions crash into hers, love and wonder and fierce devotion so powerful it brought tears to her eyes. The Pack erupted in howls of celebration, the sound echoing through the forest like thunder. Alpha Donovan stepped forward, and the crowd quieted once more. As Alpha of Silvercrest, I recognize this bond. And I recognize Elias Fletcher's claim to the royal bloodline. He turned to Elias. But power without wisdom is tyranny. So I offer you a choice. Take your place as a sovereign prince and rule your own Pack, as is your right. Or stay here, learn from us, and help us build something better than the old ways. Elias didn't hesitate. I choose to stay. I choose to learn. And when the time comes for Aeryn to become Luna, I'll stand beside her as her equal, not above her as some distant king. Pride and relief crossed Donovan's face. Then welcome to the family, son. The celebration lasted until dawn. Wolves danced and feasted, shared stories and challenges, strengthened bonds old and new. Aeryn lost count of how many Pack members approached to offer congratulations, to meet Elias properly, to express curiosity about the lost prince who chose love over power. But as the sun began to paint the sky in shades of pink and gold, Aeryn and Elias slipped away from the crowd, seeking a moment of peace in the chaos. They found themselves back at the old temple, the place where everything had changed. The spring water reflected the fading moonlight, and magic hummed in the ancient stones. "I keep expecting to wake up," Elias said quietly. "To find out this was all some impossible dream. If it is, then we're dreaming together." Aeryn rested her head on his shoulder. "And I never want to wake up." "What happens now?" "Marcus is still out there. The wolves who created those corrupted creatures might come back. There are probably a dozen other threats we don't even know about yet." "Now?" Aeryn smiled. "Now we face them together. We build a life, we protect the pack, we figure out what it means to combine royal magic with alpha leadership. We probably argue about whose turn it is to do the dishes." Elias laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "That's your vision of our future? Dishes?" "Among other things." She turned to kiss him again, deeper this time, full of promise and heat. "But yes. Normal moments mixed with extraordinary ones. A life worth living, not just surviving. I like that vision." He pulled her closer, his forehead resting against hers. "For the first time in my life, I'm not searching for something. I'm not waiting for a missing piece to click into place. I'm whole. So am I." As the sun rose fully, burning away the last traces of the blood moon, they made their way back to the pack house. Together. Equal. United. Kira met them at the entrance, a knowing grin on her face. "Finally decided to rejoin civilization? Someone had to make sure you didn't burn down the pack house while we were gone," Aeryn teased. "Please. I'm a model of responsibility." Kira's expression turned serious. "Father wants to start your official training tomorrow. Both of you. He's planning to step down as Alpha in 5 years, and he wants you ready." 5 years. Time to learn, to grow, to build the foundation for a new kind of leadership. Time to prove that love and duty didn't have to be opposing forces, that tradition and change could coexist. "We'll be ready," Elias said. And Aeryn believed him. Because they had already survived the impossible. They had defied fate's cruelest joke and turned it into their greatest strength. The future stretched before them, full of challenges and joys, dangers and triumphs. But they would face it together, bound by love and blessed by the moon. Some mates were not meant to be found, they were meant to be unleashed. And together, Aeryn and Elias would prove that the fiercest wolves were the ones who fought for love. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Aeryn and Elias's story. I hope you loved watching them overcome impossible odds to find their happily ever after. If you enjoyed this tale of forbidden love, ancient magic, and werewolf royalty, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more shifter romance stories. What did you think of Elias's transformation? Should I write more stories about the royal bloodline? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I love hearing from you. Until next time, may your own fated mate find you when you least expect it. Stay wild, stay magical, and I'll see you in the next story.